Okay, guys. So basically, yesterday we managed to do a few of the questions that are from section 2 of this package, and we did the first 3 questions, which were the one that was determining the magnitude of angles, and we managed to do this question. We did number 2, which was the graphing of the quadrilateral, and then we did the reduction by 1/3. And then also we did the construction of a quadrilateral given all of the lengths and also given the magnitude of one angle. So now anybody has any questions with what we did yesterday? No? Okay.
No, Miss. No.
Okay, good. So basically those were like areas where we took an entire week just to cover these specific topics. We took a week to do angles, we took a week to do graphing of reductions and enlargement, and we took a week to do quadrilateral. So just these 3 questions cover 1 week of the unit 3 that we were doing. Now question number 4 is very straightforward, and I will not be going into depth or solving them. One moment, guys. I forgot to send the link. Okay. So as I was saying, number 4, if you guys have taken a look at those questions and you have read the questions, it says evaluate the following. So these are 2 separate questions, and each one of them requires its own working. So now the first one says a pyramid has a volume of 20 cubic inches and the area of the base is 15 square inches. What is the height of the pyramid? So you have to go back to when we were doing volume and surface area, and you go specifically to volume of a pyramid. And in this case it is a square, sorry. And in this case it is a square base pyramid, right? So now they're telling you that the volume of the pyramid is 20 inches. They're telling you that the base is 15 inches. So now you have to calculate the height, right? And if you guys use the formulas that were given to you, all you have to do is substitute your values, you find the height, and then you are supposed to get the answer. And the answer for this one, whatever answer that you get, is going to be in inches and only inches, because you're only providing a length. It's only the height. So once you get that answer, you're gonna write the number. If you get 3, 4, whatever you get, you're gonna write 4 inches or 3 inches, whatever your answer is. And then the second part now, which is another separate question. It's not the same thing as A, it is a different question. So now it says that a pyramid with a square base has a volume of 120 cubic meters and a height of 10 meters. What is the side length of the base? So basically in this question, they're asking you for the slant length. And we had done questions like that. If you go back to Google Classroom and you go to that week where we had that assignment, there is a question that is almost identical to this one with different numbers, where you have to find the slant length, the SL. So it's the side of the base, right? Um, for number 5, it says a sprocket on the crankshaft of an engine powers the camshaft by a chain assembly. If the engine of the crankshaft is turning 320 revolutions per minute and the sprocket has a radius of 15.5 inches to the nearest inch, how many inches of chain travels past the sprocket in 1 minute? Now, what are they asking you to find here? They're asking you to find the length of the arc. In Google Classroom, that was the last week. If you go back to week 6, in Google Classroom or in your package, it does have the formula for finding length of an arc. And then also, well, for part B, you would just have to change it. It says to the nearest foot, how many feet of chain travel past the sprocket in 1 minute. So in this one, they're asking you for inches. This part A is where the calculation is going to be. And then for part B, whatever answer you get in inches, all you have to do is change it to feet. And then that is going to be your answer for part B. So those are the two questions that were left that we were, well, I am not going to be doing along with you guys, but I have given you guys explanation, and you guys are going to be working with that on your own. Going to the multiple choice section, is there any specific question that any of you would like for me to go over in the multiple choice question? If you have your package, or if you have the activity open, or you have started working on it. Does that mean that everybody knows the answers to all those questions?
No mencionamos de todo. No.
Okay, let's go ahead. I think we have enough time. We can see how many multiple choice questions we can do together, right? So let's see. Number one says the diagonals, and diagonals are the lines that run across like that, from one corner to one corner. Those are diagonals. It says the diagonals of each of the following figures will always bisect each other and meet at right angles. So now a rhombus is like a slanted square. You know what a rectangle is? A parallelogram is like a slanted rectangle. And then you have a trapezium, and a trapezium has like a shorter side at the top and then a longer side at the bottom. You guys are supposed to know how these shapes look like. If you guys were to draw the diagonals, so if I have a rectangle and you draw the diagonals in that rectangle, so the lines that cross, which one of these shapes, you do that for the rhombus, you do that for the rectangle, you do that for the parallelogram, and you do that for the trapezium, which one of those shapes, that no matter how big or how small or how long or how short your shape, it will always have right angles being formed?
The parallels, sí.
Are you sure? Let me
Rombos. Rombos, miss.
let me see if I can open. Let me open a Jamboard, and then I'll draw the shapes, and then you guys can visualize it, because I don't think that you guys are visualizing what I'm saying. Okay. And then I'm gonna share this tab. Okay. So now over here. What I'm gonna be doing is that I'm going to be drawing the four shapes. So now first off we have a rhombus, which is something like that, I would say. A rhombus. A rectangle. A parallelogram. And then you have a trapezium. Alright, so those are the four shapes. The question is telling you, if I were to draw diagonals across all of these ones, so diagonals like that one, and like that. Which one of these would always make a right angle over here where they intersect? Which one would
That one, miss.
always? Which one?
El de abajo, el de la esquina.
Let me. I don't think that my diagrams are doing justice to the question. Let me see if I can just make the shapes. Okay, so I have the rectangle. I'm gonna put a rhombus. That's a rhombus. And then I'm gonna put a parallelogram. And then I'm gonna put the trapezium. Okay, so these are the shapes. These are the shapes that I'm telling you about. Right? If I were to draw the diagonals for each one of these shapes, let's see if I can do this. I am going to draw a line like this and a line like that. Right? For this one, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna see if I can do this. What happened? Okay. Right now. Somebody's doing. Okay, so these are the shapes that we have, right? Let's say that I want to go ahead and do that for all of them. Right? Let me move it a little bit down. For which one of these shapes, good morning, Eimer. For which one of these shapes would I always get a right angle in the middle? All right. And in this one, we can't go ahead and measure it, right? You can't put your protractor on your screen and then you're gonna measure this. All right. It just has to be common knowledge, like common sense. It's something that you should know already. Right? Which one of these shapes, when I draw the diagonals, it's going to always form a right angle?
The rhombus, miss?
Why the rhombus?
Because it formed a 90 degrees, miss, the right angle.
Okay, your answer is correct. The answer is the rhombus. The answer cannot be the trapezium because if I were to draw the diagonals, these would not give me the right angle because these sides are not the same length, right? They're not the same length. For a rectangle, if I were to draw it for the rectangle, it would not give me 90 degrees because the rectangle is long on one side and short on the other side. For the parallelogram, it would not give me 90 degrees because a parallelogram is just like a rectangle only because it's a little bit slanted. The only one that can give me 90 degrees is a rhombus because in the case of the rhombus, what shape is the rhombus similar to?
Square, miss.
A square. And what is a unique property of a square? What property does a square have that no other shape has?
Angle.
All sides are the same, and because all sides of the same, all the angles are the same. And because all the angles are the same, when I draw the diagonals, that means that The lines or the length of diagonals are also going to be the same thing, and the angles that it's going to form are also going to be the same thing. Therefore, for this question number one, the answer is going to be which letter?
A.
A. Very good. The answer is going to be A. Number two, if a square has an area of 900 centimeters, what is going to be the perimeter? What do we need to know in this question to be able to find the perimeter of a square? If I tell you find the perimeter of a square, what information do I need to give you for you to find the perimeter?
Let's first divide the 900 and then because divide it into forms, because it has square.
Okay. You are kind of on the right track. Let me share the screen. If they tell you, okay, a square, right? This is my square, and this square has an area of 900 um, centimeters squared. I think it's at centimeters, right? That is what it's saying. What is area? Is area around the square or inside of the square?
Inside.
Inside. So now this is telling you that inside of the square is 900 square centimeters. And what is the question asking you to find?
The perimeter.
And what is the perimeter? When they tell you find perimeter, what do you need to find?
Area. The outside.
What do you mean with the outside?
The length and the
You
width. Then she will need to multiply all the sides or add something like that. The distance around the shape means?
The distance around the shape. Very good. The perimeter is finding the distance around the shape. That is what I need to find. This is what the question is asking me for. Around the shape. Now, I don't have any information that talks about around the shape. For me to be able to find the perimeter of the square, what do I need to know?
the one side means
The one
One
side
of
width.
the sides. Very good. I need to know the length, right? The length of one of the sides. I need to know what that length is. Now, the only thing that this question gives me is area. Can I use the area to find the length? Yes or no?
yes miss.
What is the formula for area of a square?
Side
Area
times
equal
Area equals what?
10 times width.
times width.
Length times width is for a rectangle.
Divide.
Area is equal to side square. Area is equal to side times side. So that is the formula that I'm going to be using. Area is equal to side squared. Right? What is the area?
This is 30.
No. What does the question tell you the area is?
900.
900. So 900 is equal to s squared. And here we have to do algebra. I need to make s the subject. I need to leave s by itself because that is what I want to know. I want to know the side. I want to know the length of a side, right? So how do I remove that power of 2? How do you remove a square?
Miss, you want to do a square root?
A square root. Very good. I will square root over here and these two will cancel, right? And then I will do a square root over on the other side so that I get s by itself. And what is the square root of 900?
30.
30 what?
30 centimeters.
Okay, 30 centimeters. So what is going to be the answer for number 2?
A, Miss.
No.
C. C, Miss.
Why is the answer C?
You need to times the 30 times 4, Miss.
Very good. Very good. If we go to the problem and the problem that I have here, this S, what does the S represent? What does the 30 represent?
The square root of 900, Miss. Sideways.
The length of a side. I have not found the perimeter as yet. I didn't do any calculation to find the perimeter. The perimeter is still missing. So if I know that one side is 30, but a square has how many sides? How many sides does a square have? 4. So for me to find the perimeter, and if you use the formula for perimeter of a square, you are going to do 4 times the side, which is 4 times 30. And how much does 4 times 30 give you?
120, miss.
120. Very good. So your answer for number 2 is going to be what letter?
C.
Letter C. Anybody has any questions?
No, Miss.
Okay. Number 3. Number 3 reads as follows. The pyramid VABCD, and if you can see the pyramid in the diagram, the pyramid is right there, has the same base and vertical height as the cube ABCDEFGH. And you can see the cube of side 6 centimeters. So this pyramid is inside of this cube, and they're telling you that the pyramid has the same length and the same height as the cube. And now they're telling you find the volume of the pyramid. Volume of the pyramid. And what kind of pyramid is this?
Square base pyramid, Miss.
A square base pyramid. Very good. A square base pyramid. What is the formula for a square base pyramid?
Length times width times height over 2.
Length times width. Repeat again.
That is size times size times height over 2.
Okay. Okay, let me just switch to my Jamboard right now. Um, okay. So this is what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna write the formula for the volume, which is the formula that Marvin read. So I am going to write that volume is equal to 1 second. Volume is equal to 1/3 side squared times the height. Right? That is for a square base pyramid. Now, if I go and I read the question, what is the length of a side for this pyramid? What value is given to us? What length of a side did they give you for the cube? 6. And what is the height?
6.
6 as well. So I'm going to substitute those numbers for this question. And I'm going to have that V is equal to 1/3 times 6 squared times 6. Right? And if you don't want to write it with the brackets, it's going to be 1/3 times 6 squared times 6. Now I have to solve this question. You can go ahead and you can cancel. You can cancel with one of the sixes, right? This gives you 2. So now you have 6 squared times 2. What is 6 squared? No, it's not 12.
It's 636.
36. Very good. And 36 times 2?
72.
72. And your units?
Square.
We are talking about volume.
Centimeter square stream.
Centimeters to the power of 3. And we read that as cube. Centimeters cube, right? So now, what is your answer for number 3?
C.
Letter C. Very good. Okay. Number 4. It says, we can do number 4 and number 5 with the time that is left, right? Number 4 says the side of two triangles are, and for the first one it says 6, 8, and 10. And for the second one it says 5, 12, and 13, respectively. The two triangles are 1. Similar, right angle, congruent, or isosceles. What will be the answer for this one? Anybody wants to give a wild guess? You can guess.
Not
Congruent
the
angles,
two.
miss?
Congruent?
Aims.
It's not congruent and it's not similar.
Miss, what was the answer from the previous one?
For number three, I think it was letter C. Okay, let's take a look at each one of these ones. When it says similar, for something to be similar, they have to be the exact same thing. The exact same thing. So if this is 6, this is also going to be 6. If this is 8, this is also going to be 8. So looking at those numbers, you can already see that it's not similar. It's not similar. So the answer cannot be A. I didn't hear you clearly. Okay. B says right angle. Is there anything in this question that tells you, okay, the triangles have a right angle? Yes or no? Do the questions tell you that the triangles have a right angle?
It would be Dims.
The answer is D, yes. Nothing in this question, if you read the question, and you can read it over and over and over, but nothing in this question tells you, okay, the two triangles have measure 6, 8, 10, and 5, 12, and 13, and they have a right angle. The question does not say that. So automatically B is not correct. When it says congruent means that if I have um what do I have here? If I have two triangles, don't have anything to represent it. If I have two triangles, but one is gonna be smaller than the other one, they're gonna be different sizes, but they're the same triangle, same shape. It looks identical. So if I'm gonna have one triangle small, I'm gonna have that same triangle, but I'm just gonna enlarge it. This congruent is like when we were doing enlargement and reductions. What we did yesterday when you were graphing your quadrilateral on your graph sheet. You have a big quadrilateral and then you have that same quadrilateral, a smaller size. That is what we call congruent. In this case, if I take 6 and divide it by 5, that's going to give me an answer. And I take 8 divided by 12, that is going to give me another answer. And 10 divided by 13, that is going to give me another answer. And those three answers are going to be different. So this is not a congruent. The only one that it can be is an isosceles. And what is an isosceles triangle? What is the definition of an isosceles triangle?
Miss, it isn't that the two sides are equal and one is different sizes?
Isn't that no? What is the meaning of an isosceles triangle?
It is a triangle that has the two sides as an equal length.
Okay, yes. Sorry, right now, guys. My key. Okay, okay, one moment. What keyboard is? Okay, so an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two sides of the same length. Is that true for this question? Is it an isosceles triangle, guys?
Yes, miss.
You just gave me a definition. You gave me a definition. What was the definition that you guys said? Okay, let me go over again. You guys said that an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two sides that are the same and one side different, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay. If you look at those measurements, 6, 8, and 10, and 5, 12, and 13, do two of those numbers look the same?
No, miss.
Are you guys hearing me clearly? Because I don't see any of you, and I don't see who unmutes and who mutes themselves to talk.
Yes, miss.
Okay,
Miss, you're breaking up,
I'm
miss.
breaking up. I think that because my screen is freezing a lot. Okay, let's leave it at number 3. Tomorrow, for tomorrow's class, we're gonna start off with number 4, and I'm gonna explain number 4 again because I don't think that you guys are understanding. And just by me looking at the screen, I don't think that you're hearing me clearly, or some of you are not hearing me clearly. So, tomorrow we're gonna continue with number 4. We're gonna start with number 4, and then we're just gonna move on from there, okay? Clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
miss. Yes, miss.
Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. You guys are free to leave. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Bye, miss.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Miss.
Yes?
Miss.